Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to Corrigan Courtyard. If this is your first time here, a special welcome to you. And if you've been here before, since the last time you were here, we have been growing in size and hopefully wisdom. Because we've grown so large, today, for the very first time in our history, we have split our graduations into 2 graduations. Today, you're graduating first. All 117 of you. Graduates, credentials, adult degree completion students. And tomorrow, we will graduate here, 180 undergraduate students. That's a combination of 297, almost 300. It's one of the largest ever. And it's really, you've been very gracious about helping us with this separation. And I told the undergraduates the other night, age sometimes brings wisdom. Knowledge sometimes brings more power. And I think that the graduates made a better choice of starting time than the undergraduates who are going to start at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. They'll have all of that sun. Okay. Brother and sister graduates, deepest thanks for sharing your incredible energies and talents with us. Thank you for sharing your dreams, your ideas for the future. Families and friends, thank you for the inexhaustible support you've given day in and day out. It's made an unbelievable difference. Sisters of the Holy Names, thank you for founding this indescribable institution, giving us your profound set of values and love of the divine in each one of us. Faculty and staff, my colleagues, thank you for the superb work that you do every day, burnishing minds into bright jewels, nurturing budding spirits into verdant gardens, lifting up the minds and spirits of us all. Thank you for being here, all of you, at this most lovely and unrepeatable moment. This has been a very good year for Holy Names University. In the fall, we were recognized by U.S. News and Report as being the single most diverse university in the United States, more diverse than Rutgers and Newark. And this spring, in a quiet, behind-the-scenes campaign headed up by our trustees, seeking to raise $35 million to support the students who will come after you, we're proud to let you know confidentially, don't tell anyone, that we're at 17.9, almost $18 million. Isn't that incredible? And one single person who is anonymous for the moment, but will become known shortly, one single person gave us the largest gift ever for endowed scholarships for students who want to teach, $4.6 million. In a few moments, maybe more like minutes, or 10 or 15 minutes from now, we're going to have to bid adieu to you, our graduates, our students, our classmates, our sisters, our brothers. Please stay in touch. Let us know your adventures, your successes, and be honest, your failures. Please do everything you can every day to practice HNU radical hospitality, social justice, and help others come to this courtyard where you are today so they can stand or sit, whatever the case may be, in this courtyard of this great university. Thank you so much. Congratulations, the class of 2013. Thank you. Just seeing if you're awake. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Raj Nichols, who will speak and offer the invocation for us. He is a candidate for Master's of Business Administration degree. She is candidate for Master of Business Administration degree and is from Livermore, California, works in the Environmental Health and Safety Department of CBRE, Raj will lead us in our invocation. We welcome her. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, as we gather before you on this victorious day, we would like to start by giving you glory, honor, and praise for your grace and mercy. Today is a day of celebration, and as we celebrate this great achievement for which we have all sacrificed, we would like to acknowledge those who have supported us throughout our journey at HNU. To our families and loved ones, we thank you for the ongoing love, support, and encouragement that keep us whole. To the professors and university staff, thank you for the challenges that made us stronger, the learning that has made us more understanding, and the knowledge that has made us wiser. Thank you also, Lord, for the amazing people we have met in this program who have impacted our lives. We walk away from HNU with not just memories of textbooks and classrooms, but of incredible classmates and colleagues, and most importantly, new friends. Thank you for this great accomplishment that allows many of us to defy odds, become leaders, and accept new and higher positions in life. Please let us be an encouragement and inspiration to those who watch us, both young and old, as they witness this great occasion. Lord, please bless this ceremony so we may all take away something great and give something greater to others. As we continue to embark on new journeys, we ask, Lord, that you bestow on us strong faith, wisdom, and the strength to endure all that we encounter. In God's name we pray. Amen.
It's my pleasure now to introduce my friend and colleague, the chair of the Education Department, Dr. Kim Mayfield, who will introduce our speaker, Dr. Gary Yee. Kim?
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Hines, distinguished guests, HNU community members, and the graduating class of 2014. I am Kimberly Mayfield, chair of the Education Department. It is with joy and delight that I am here to share this evening with you and to have the honor of introducing Dr. Gary Yee, our commencement speaker and recipient of the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. For over 40 years, the field of education has been Dr. Yee's life's work. He started as a teacher in the Oakland Public Schools, became a principal, a district administrator, and most recently, superintendent. Along the way, he worked for the Peralta Community College District, Boston College, St. Mary's, Mills College, and Holy Names University. During his time at Holy Names, he was elected to the Oakland Unified School District Board, where he served for 10 years. He was well prepared for each of these roles, as he is a proud graduate of Oakland Public Schools, the University of California at Berkeley, California State University Hayward, and that place that's called the farm down the road, Stanford University. Like Holy Names University, Dr. Yee is a native Oaklander who is committed to liberating minds and transforming lives and providing opportunities for people to change up the career ladder through the power of education. As a consultant for the Career Ladders Project, he provided leadership in the development of the California Community College Linked Learning Initiative by creating alignment between academic skills and job skills for local youngsters so they could be employable. The activist in Dr. Yee is driven to create systems that improve the quality of life for Oaklanders. He did this for me in 2001, when as chair, he hired me as an assistant professor in the education department, thus launching my 13-year career here at Holy Names University. I know Dr. Yee to be a caring, innovative, supportive, enthusiastic, and creative educator and leader who values the human person. In every position he has held, he has endeavored to create meaningful relationships and to leave the situation better than he found it. Dr. Yee is the only person I know who has worked in every level of the education system in Oakland. His vast experiences and sustained commitment to the betterment of our community make him the perfect choice for commencement speaker and the recipient of the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Please help me welcome to the microphone my mentor, colleague, and friend, Dr. Gary Yee.
I was so impressed with Dr. Mayfield's talk, just now introduction, and the way she did it. I asked her to read my speech for me. But then she would get the honorary letters and not me, and I'm really looking forward to that conferral. So I am really honored to be on the stage as your commencement speaker and to congratulate you all on your graduate success. I'm so honored to join you at the first all-graduate celebration because I remember so often in the time that I was a faculty here that we had a joint celebration, and it was packed, but I didn't worry about the packedness. It was hot. And this is the perfect environment at the end of a day, at the end of a week, at the end of a year, at the end of your term as students to celebrate your success. The conferral of your advanced degree today means that this faculty and this college, university, believe you to be a master of a body of work in your chosen profession or discipline. Imagine that, a master. Congratulations. A few years ago, I was a professor here at Holy Names, and sitting with my colleagues in the audience on the side, just relieved that all of our students turned in all their assignments and paid all their fees, and just thinking of how important this moment must be for you, the students, for your families and your friends, and most of all, for the world that will benefit from the newfound skills and knowledge that you now have. Your advanced degree means that you have taken an important next step on what I hope will be a long and successful journey of learning, serving, and teaching. But wait, some of you may say, I didn't graduate in education. I graduated in nursing or psychology or music. What is that stuff about teaching? Well, you know that research shows that mastery of a skill or mastery of a body of knowledge is best evidenced when you are able to teach someone else. So that's why teaching, I put teaching in there, and I commend you for your ability to teach. For most of you, this will be your terminal professional degree, a way to tell employers and clients and colleagues and friends and potential spouses that you have put what you have learned in the world of work to the test of reflection, research, and advanced study. But for others of you, you may decide to return again to the ivory tower to pursue a doctorate because you love this robe. Now, I should tell you, when I graduated from Stanford, I wasn't going to buy a robe. I was going to use the black one that you rent. But my mother and father, who never graduated from college, felt it was important And so they bought it for me, and I'm proud to wear it before you, and I hope that you will one day get a chance to do the same. This day of celebration of your success here at Holy Names, overlooking the Bay Area and especially Oakland. We know that most of you have worked hard, adding classes and readings and assignments to the ongoing responsibility of work, family, and service. You have learned about nursing, counseling, musicianship, teaching, and more. You have read and written and learned to communicate your original ideas to others. The one additional skill set that you have honed here, because you are, after all, graduating from Holy Names, is that you are equipped to serve your community in new and even more important ways. After all, this university's mission is empowering a diverse student body for leadership and service in a complex world. I hope that you have had the chance to discover Oakland, maybe because you have lived here much of your life and you are seeing it in a new way, maybe because your advanced degree required some research about Oakland that allowed you to dispel many of the myths and fears about urban life, and maybe because you have spent some leisure time or private time wondering why in the world did the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary choose to establish their center for teaching and service to Christ here in Oakland 150 years ago. Whatever that reason was, we are all grateful for their vision of a future in our city, and we are excited about your vision for the future as well. When I was chair of the department here, I had the privilege and pleasure to work with many of your professors, so I know something about the ethos that defines the culture of education you received. I also have seen how that education has expressed itself in many alums who have taken what they learned here and made a difference in the world, especially here in Oakland. Dr. Lucinda Taylor comes to mind, who received her teaching credential at Holy Names. Now, as principal of Madison Middle School in East Oakland, Dr. Taylor has transitioned a low-performing, struggling school into a high-performing elementary through high school, and she receives visitors and researchers from around the United States who want to know how she's made that change. She says that she highlights strong teaching and learning while supporting families using a community school model that treats every child, the whole child, not just a place to put knowledge. Or Julie Hayden, who received her Kodai training and a master's in music education here at Holy Names, and developed and directs the Cantari Children's Choir and provides choral music opportunities to 1,200 low-income school children all across Oakland. One of those children is my daughter. Or Dr. Rachel Rogers-Ard, who received her master's degree in education here with my assistance, and developed and now directs Teach Tomorrow in Oakland, an innovative recruitment and professional development strategy that brings local residents into the teaching profession who might not have felt able to meet all the requirements for teacher credentialing. Maybe some of you know these three distinguished graduate alums. And I'm looking at the audience here. Do I see any potential teachers for Oakland children in the audience? If you are, you need to talk to these people about Teach Tomorrow for Oakland. Enough of the legacy. What does that mean for you today and tomorrow and for the rest of your life? As you can see, I've been around for a while, and I've had to learn a few lessons. I'd like to share a perspective that I've been thinking a lot about since I finished reading Paul Tuff's book, How Children Succeed: Grit, Curiosity, and the Hidden Power of Character. Now, when I first read it through, I was impressed by the thought of grit. And I think many of you in this audience have that characteristic and have that skill, grit. But what I'm focused on now as I was preparing for this speech is the power of character. This book has been influential in education research and evaluation for its focus on what are now called non-cognitive indicators of student development, social emotional learning, and the development of grit in overcoming early failure in children. What I've been thinking about, as I said, is this notion of character, and I'd just like to spend a few minutes talking about what I mean by character. Now, ironically, commencements are often about what you have done, right? Or achieved, right? Or endured, right? I want to ask you to set aside for a few moments that notion and consider a different perspective of your time here on the Hill. What I think the Holy Names University Advanced Degree or Certificate is about is building character. Not what you have done, but who you are or who you want to be. I think about the early sisters and the current sisters that I have met over the last 20 years here, and I'm impressed by what they have done, sure, but even more so who they are, their character. Not just the academic titles that they have garnered, but the testimonies of those who have been touched by their character. And I think about each of you who may have overcome failure or the fear of failure, which is just as fearsome, to undertake this endeavor to become. Now, while most of you are A students, right? I'm sure I offer you 5 B's that I think speak to the development of character applied to leadership. Now, these B's won't show up on your transcript, so they won't affect your grade point average or anything like that. But I do have 5 B's to give you. The first B is to be ready. Your master's degree has helped you to be ready for something, but what? Being ready means knowing and understanding the circumstances that surround you, gaining the skills and perspectives of the present, and understanding how they might better advantage your organization in the future. But being ready is not only being prepared, but being ready to step in, to seize the moment, to try something different, to take a chance, to act. My wife and I retired together in 2008. Our life seemed to be a preparation for retirement, but then tragedy stepped into my life and my wife died suddenly and ended a love affair of 48 years. It's 450 days ago. I was going to stop all of my work and focus on rebuilding my life when the Oakland superintendent of schools announced he was leaving. The school board was anguished about what to do next. It was too late in the year to start a national search, and they asked, would I step in? I knew that I was emotionally not ready to take on this very public task with the challenges I knew only too well. But my 40 years as an educator had to have been preparation for something. And was this it? I was ready to overcome my own fear of failure and step forward to lead. And it has been quite a ride. For instance, last Wednesday night, our board meeting lasted 7 hours and ended at midnight, and we hadn't quite finished all of our work. But what could be more gratifying and purposeful than to see and support those of you who have prepared to be Oakland's teachers and educators and parents? The second B that I'm giving you is to be humble. It's easy when you reach a milestone like a master's degree to believe that your accomplishments are all about you. First, realize that you have a mastery of a tiny set of facts and skills that are needed for your work today, but especially for your life tomorrow. Now, I had master's management skills in education enough to be the department chair here at Holy Names, but I needed help when I left to become vice chancellor of Peralta Community Colleges, and I needed really the chance to try it. Chancellor Elihu Harris, who some of you know was also the mayor here, believed in me enough to give me that chance, and chances to learn and grow and to make mistakes and to build my repertoire. Who will you need to help you as you move along from your mastery here at Holy Names to mastery in the workplace or in the community? Will you be humble enough to ask for help along your journey and to say thank you? And, of course, who will you be willing to help to take the step to be where you are now? The third B is to be collaborative. You would think that finally, after all these years, getting to be superintendent means that now I can tell everyone else what they should do for their own good. Just like President Hines. Not so. I am more dependent than ever on the team that works with me in the schools. While we often like to think that we as leaders have ranks of followers behind us, the reality is that jobs today are too hard to be done alone. Building relationships so that people will help you with your work requires you to help others unconditionally. Letting someone else write a memo in their voice, not yours, even though it's not as good as the one you would write, or lead a meeting, even if it's not as quick as you would like it to be, if you're a great facilitator, is what you might have to do to help somebody else along. Most of my time as a superintendent of schools, and by the way, we have 4,000 employees and a $600 million budget, which I can't believe that I could barely balance my department budget here at Holy Names, and now I have to balance that budget. Most of my time is spent developing a sense of teamness, systemness, and genuine collaboration, what educational researcher Michael Fullen calls professional capital. All that professional capital is invested in collaborative decision-making. Be courageous. After 6 months in the job, I was confronted with the task of ensuring equity in funding for the coming year. I had realized that the budgeting model we were using wasn't really equitable, but no one had really taken the time to analyze it, or even if we knew it, wanted to face the battles to change it. I concluded that it was important to change, but was it worth it, creating a sense of chaos when I was only going to be here for another 6 months? Would people be willing to unlearn their past practices and try an untested new system? I believe it was, because by just beginning the change, we encountered so much in terms of unspoken routines that were not actually beneficial to the system or to children. The job isn't done yet, and it won't be completed by me, but courage means telling folks why you're doing the things the way you are, doing them, facing the possibility of failure as just a lesson learned, and then being open to change in a continuous improvement cycle. Does that sound like your MBA? Finally, be true. Being true to yourself and to your core values is probably the most important lesson I want to leave you with. Now, I've been in the school district for 4 decades, and I see people that I've known since the first day I arrived, still working, and people who are just beginning their career now, but who were students in the schools when I was working during my career. As I leave in 30 days, I wonder what people will remember. Will they remember the successes, the lessons, the field trips, the failures, the fights, the missed opportunities? Or will they remember who I was, a person whose foundation was grounded in his faith, his family, and his community? There is no doubt which one I would prefer at this time in my life. The successes and failures, truthfully, all pretty much balance out over the course of a career, or they should if we have been courageous, since most innovation fails, and there is reason we call science a system of trial and error. So for the last talk about character, I'd like to share with you that 3 short articles from the newspapers I still get to read on Sunday mornings before church. The first was a recent interview with Robin Roberts, the ABC news anchor in the New York Times. When asked about her favorite author, she didn't mention a public figure or a TV personality that she met. She mentioned John Wooden, the legendary UCLA basketball coach. Her favorite quote from him was not about basketball, but about character. Here it is. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. It's going to be fun to put the MA or MBA or MAED after your name on your calling cards now, right? But what will people find when they really get to know you? Will they find integrity, generosity, humility, honor, or something else? The second article was one on how to raise a moral child. The author, Professor Adam Grant, writes that while many parents live vicariously through their children's accomplishments, Most parents place far greater importance on raising caring children. Is that what you hope to raise, those of you in the audience who were parents? And are these caring children? Okay, we'll skip the rest of that one then. In study after study, children were most influenced when they are reminded that their actions are because of the kind of person they are, not just what they do. Quote, "I guess you're the kind of person who likes to help others," is more influential than even, "That was a nice and helpful thing to do." So what kind of a person are you? These two reminded me finally of a talk I heard a long time ago from a theologian, Tony Campolo, from Eastern University, who observed that at eulogies, he often heard about the titles that the deceased had obtained, and those were fine records of their accomplishments, but really what mattered was the testimonies of people whose lives were changed by the deceased. Those were testimonies about character converted into visible action. As psychologist Carl Weick was fond of saying, "How can I know who I am until I see what I do? How can I know what I value until I see where I walk?" So my final message to you all today is to celebrate your titles, masters of your profession, but remember that it is what people testify as to your character, as to who you are, which will matter at the end. Thank you.
Gary, it's my privilege on behalf of the Board of Trustees to present you with this diploma for a Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa for illustrious service to humanity and nobility of spirit, which has been testified to here today by Dr. Mayfield and others. And we grant this degree with all its rights, honors, and privileges, and you can check out what those are in testimony of the signatures below of the Chairman of the Board, James Falassi, and my own, William Hines. Gary, congratulations. Dr. Martin gives the hood. Your double hood.
Thank you so much.
At this time, the Holy Names University Chamber Singers will perform 3 short songs. The traditional Gaudeamus Igitur, Cohors Generosa by Zoltan Kodály, and In These Delightful Pleasant Groves by Henry Purcell. Janos Horvath will conduct the chamber singers.
Oh, generosa,
Turba studiosa, doctorem celerabis.
oh, generosa,
Turba studiosa, doctorem celerabis. Suavi cantum, leto gesto decorabis. Vivitum, 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 decorabis suscito. Cohors generosa, turba studiosa, doctorem concelerabis. Suavi cantum, leto gesto decorabis. Vivitum, multum vivitore adulcito. Vivat, 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 vivat.
la, mi, do.
In these delightful pleasant groves, in these delightful pleasant groves, let us celebrate, let us celebrate, let us celebrate our happy, happy loves. In these delightful pleasant groves, in these delightful pleasant groves, let us celebrate, let us celebrate, let us celebrate our happy, happy loves. Let's pipe, pipe and dance. Let's pipe, pipe and dance. Let's sing la 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 and sing la and sing. Thus, thus, thus every happy, happy living thing revels in a cheerful, cheerful spring. Revels in a cheerful, cheerful spring.
Candidates for master's degrees will now be presented. Dr. Hines, the following candidates have fulfilled the requirements for the master's degree. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology. Lashana DeVore Williams Richardson. Shauna Ligaya Boykin. Janine Marie Jones. Sherry Lynn Steigley Scott. Gregory Donald Burns. Josie Augustine Brady. Juliana Santiago. Ana Mejia. Amy Rashawn Carnegie. Jaha Anu Higgs. Princess Pellar Futrell. Mallory Ann Wilson. Marvin Enrique Guillen. Tanisha Marche Taylor. Sumaki Marie Haynes. Carol Lynn Kent. Cindy Florido. Erica Levine Reed. Michelle Danielle Myers. Flavia Vidove Enrique. Nareda Rodriguez. Jacqueline R. Allen. Iabo Adadiron. Desiree Michelle Stewart. Helen? Shoot. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Culture and Spirituality. Shantae Desiree Hayes. Teresa Perez Martinez. Deborah A. Song. Master of English, the Writer's Craft. Alexandria Nicole Jacobs. Joshua Michael Redden. David I. Wainwright. Joseph Eric Bressler. Maria D. Yanez. Rosa Gutierrez. Lakeisha Brown George.
I don't know when they change. I don't know who they are. Okay, it's going to be the blue hoods. Next.
Okay. John Lee Smith II. Rita Bhattacharjee Hiss. Lisa Hicks. Raj Kiran Nichols. Adrian Marina Shelton. Janisha N. Smith. Christina Renee Turner. Lamont Rab Lumpkins. Joaquin Murrieta Rodriguez. Petar Triva. Benjamin Andrew Clyde. Joelle Kimberly White. Nancy Murillo. Robert Brian Wills. Charmaine A. Wilcox. Omar Franco. Masters of Education. Candidates of Masters of Education. Julia Marixa Ibarra Martinez. Mary Lou Carrillo Hinojosa. Mecca Roween Shakur. Taslyn J. Kimball. Tonisha Dewan Webb. Sarah Rachel Ben Israel. Leah Corin Humphreys. Maria Cristina Aguilera. Caroline Marie Conlon. Mara Keogh Randall. Fabiola Zepeda. Masters of Education and Certificate in Educational Therapy, Christina Sears. Kimberly Tatro. Masters of Music, Music Education with Kodai emphasis. Sarah Annabelle Holly Snow. Lily Angelica Storm. Tanya Leah Stum. Samantha L. Moss Baldwin. Sarah Jane Muckhall. Kar Yan Lee. Logan Sky McKinney. Travis Dwayne Kindred. Kevin James Diggins. Chi Hung Samuel Lee. Masters of Piano Pedagogy, Jessica Gar Lam Kwong. Masters of Science in Nursing, Holly Lynn Burt. Yaroon Jebraselassie Cochito. Kim Yoon Sun. Nami Choi. Jennifer Ruth Preston. Christine Marie Honer Cooper. Kimberly R. Lizama. Kelly Jean Franco. Sachiko Jeanette Kageyama. Christy N. Doty. Jeanette Kimes. Shannon Renee Primer. Amy Blia Zong. Selena Ruiz Escamilla. Ivory Fortich Adanza. Erin Maureen Hare. Francis Winona T. Prado. Shiva Farvan. Alida Bertila Outman. Janine Nicole Kennedy. Michelle S. Spencer. Ashling Marie Robinson. Nicole Christina Johnson Navarro. Scott David Lopez. Lillian Mohaki Maina. Marcia Esther Brathwaite Keys. Dorothy Smith. Yeah. These are dual degrees, Master of Science in Nursing and MBA, Master of Business Administration. Rosia Caballero Garcia. Certificate in Educational Therapy, Tiffany A. Nielsen. Postmaster's Certificate, Family Nurse Practitioner, Dr. Carolyn D. Harris Michelle. Credential in Multiple Subject, Kimberly Elnora Smith. Malika Campbell. Credential in Single Subject, Diane L. Johnson Terrell. Yolanda R. Minor. Alessandra Albrizio Robinson. Adjua Marie Middleton. Preliminary Level 1 Specialist, Mild Moderate Disabilities, Annie Pham. Dr. Hines, do we have the last row? Will the candidates for master's degrees please rise for the conferring of your degree?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Holy Names University, it's my privilege to confer upon each candidate here assembled the master's degree earned with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereof. This is a class of 2014. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, a sister of holy names, member of the provincial leadership team, former chair of the business division. Sister Marcia Freidegger will be leading us in the final blessing. Sister Marcia.
I would like to ask family and friends if you would join me in blessing the graduates by extending your hand over them. And she didn't put it in here. She put the... God of love, you who have brought these graduates here and sent them forth, we ask you to bless their excitement and to support them during times of anxiety. We ask you to help them to see the world that is waiting for them to exercise what it means to be a master of their knowledge and to share that with others. And we promise that all of us will join in supporting you, and we ask for God's blessing in the names of Jesus and Mary. Amen.
Amen.